Hi everyone, good morning, welcome. It is 11 o'clock and we are Samee with Session live today. So it's good to see you here. Hope you're all well. We're just allowing a couple of people to drop in, and I'm just making sure the volume's down on my mobile so we don't get caught out, shall we say. So we're here live this week, and we wanted to do a Samee session that was a little bit different. We wanted to do a Samee with Samee session. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to talk about Samee moving forward, what our people might want, and what you want to find out from us, and also do a general question and answer session as well. So this week we have Wayne is on a technical with me. So Wayne is taking questions from emails, and you can also comment in the box, and you can also talk to us that way. So that's what we've got doing. So if you are live at the moment, please say a hello and pop a good morning into the thing so we know you're on board with us. But yeah, if you've got some questions coming in and you want to add a question, add it into the comment. Also, just to talk a little bit about, we have easy fundraising. Just wanted to make you aware of that as well. So we have our easy fundraising session where you can help to raise funds for the charity, and you can also support us without any extra time or money. That's the good thing. You know, it's great. You can do your normal shopping as you would online. You can make some donations by making your normal payments. So we are here having a conversation with you today and just talking about how we move forward, because Samee with Sessions have taken on a life of their own. We've had some great interviews over the past few weeks, and we've got some lined up as well, which are going to be really great, which I'll talk about in a moment. But we just wanted to kind of have a chat and just see what will help you. Hi Liz, good to see you on board. Good to see you here this morning. So this is kind of a Samee with Samee session. So moving forward, what have we got? We've got an accounts conversation coming up next week. We've got a lovely accountant who we've been talking to, who's going to come and do a Samee with session. The week after, we are talking to one of the people that we've been working with who have set up their own business. That's going to be very interesting. I will tell you a little bit more about that next week when we have our Samee with session. And just to let you know, while I think about it, next week we will move to the later time of Friday, the later day of Friday, for the accounts one. So Samee with session next week will happen, but it'll happen on Friday because of availability. We're excited to interview the lovely accountant that we've been talking to. She is not she's friendly, she's fun, she's happy. Great to hear you've been enjoying the Samee sessions, Liz. Thank you very much. We've got a couple of other people I think that are on board as well, so if you're on, say good morning. Like I said, this is a Q&A session. So if you've got any general questions you want answered, any business-based questions, anything you've been thinking of, drop them through into the comment box or email them through to wayne@samee.co.uk. He's got the email address today, and he's monitoring that one as well. So what would people like to hear? If you're watching live at the moment, let's have some comments. We've had a question actually email just in. I'm struggling with my accounts. What's the easiest way to record info? Always a good question. And we find that people really struggle with this sometimes. And you suddenly discover that when you're running your own business, you're the accounts person, you're the administrator, you're the salesperson. There's so much to do. And there is a terminology called KISS to remember when you're in business, and it is keep it simple, silly. So remember that when you're doing business, always look at anything and think KISS. So with accounts, the first thing we would always say is you need to speak to an accounts person. It's always good to have an accountant. It does go down as a business expense, and they will tell you a bit more about that. Next week, we've got the accountant lady who's going to come and talk a little bit more. So that will be good. So that'll answer that question. But for now, if you have a simple spreadsheet or a simple book, you know, whether you're computer based, paper based, it doesn't matter. But if you have a simple A4 book or you have a spreadsheet on a computer, you simply just need to record the date of whatever it was, the number of the receipts. So any receipts you have or invoices, if you number them, record those, and then have a column for money in, a column for money out, and total it. And if you do that each month, that will help you with your accounts and finance when you do your self-assessment returns or when you talk to your accountant. Accountants have kind of they do different things which you'll hear about, but you have the organized people who have everything labeled, they have it all in nice columns, they pass it to the accountant and go, there's my monthly expenses. Then you also have the other people that go, we call them the carrier bag people, because literally all the receipts are in a carrier bag and they walk into the accountants and they go, there's my receipt, sort it out for me. The carrier bag is more expensive because it takes more time. So yeah, that helps hopefully answer that question. Morning, Essie, good to have you on board. We're having a general Q&A session. So if you've got any Q&As generally about business, want to ask the questions, then do feel free. A lot of the time, some people ask us about, how do I understand my customers and what's my ideal customer and what do they really want? And for those of you that may not have watched it already or heard about it, there is something out there called Simon Sinek Start With Why. Our very lovely trustee Simon Tucker introduced me to this one and introduced the team to it, and absolutely brilliant. It does really get you thinking about how customers buy around their emotions, and then they use the logical part of their brain to confirm and to reason why they've bought it. So next time you're out there and you're buying an item and you're thinking, I really shouldn't, and you just bought it just because it felt right, remember, it's the emotional, the feeling side, the center of the brain that's done that, and then logically you've kind of justified why you bought that. So yeah, start with why is really great to start building your customers and your understanding. And one example he uses, washing powder companies, when they were doing detergents and things years ago, they looked at the chemicals that made things clean, and no one was really connecting with products. And then they suddenly realized that actually they're missing a trick here, and they started to look at it. And what's the first thing when you do when you get your clothes out the washing machine? You smell them and you notice the freshness of them. So this is the thing that we suggest to customers. This is the start with why, and this is what the washing companies discovered, is that they started to do some research and went, we need to talk about the freshness. This is why you see the adverts now that show how fresh something is, and you see the flowers coming off the washing a week later and things like that, because that's what we do. So yeah, start with why, definitely. We've had another question in as well, so if you've got any questions, do add them into the comments. General questions, business-based questions, let us know things that you might want to see a bit more within the Samee with sessions. But we've had another question in, and that is, I'm always so busy and get distracted by my children all the time. Any ideas to help me? Well, there are lots of ideas out there. Sadly, I don't think you can lock the children out of the house or anything like that. I wouldn't suggest that. So, it's kind of finding, how do you make that work? And there are several ways, depending on the ages of the children. One is getting good at organizing and planning your time. When you start working for yourself, you become the boss. So you have got to be the one that wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, gives yourself the good talking to that says, no, you can't have the day off today. You've got to go and earn the money. You've got to go and do the work. Then when you set your diary, it's always good to have a morning routine, because when we're in a job, we kind of have that routine of, we get up, we get washed, we get dressed, we get into the car, we drive to a set location, we park the car, we make the coffee, we sit down at the desk, we open the email. You go through a routine. When you're at home, that routine goes out the window because you're the only person that's going to set that routine. So having a routine where you can sit down, you can kind of say, okay, what do I need to do? When do I need to do it? You know, get into a set way. So you get up, you get ready, do some personal development, something like that. That's always good because that goes out the window when we become our own boss. So do some self-development, some reading, some personal development, then move on to looking at what your day is. Get organized beforehand. What have I got to do today? What are the outcomes I want to achieve? This was something I was watching, some great training. You know, we always have a to-do list. We always look at the jobs we need to do. Think of your to-do list in a different way and look at the outcomes that you want to achieve today. Don't look at the jobs, and it's a method that I'm looking a bit more into. But yeah, look at the outcomes that you want to achieve, and you know, set the agenda for the morning. And when you go into each meeting, when you go into each telephone call, what are the outcomes you want to achieve? You know, have that in your mind at the forefront because that will keep you very focused and very on task. There's something called color blocking, which is great for organization that I use and I suggest. And that's where you give everything in your life a different color. So the partner has a color, friends and family have a color, work or your business has a color. And you then put the diary, you block things out into the diary in those colors in block formation. And what it does is it allows you to see very visually, very clearly on a week to view planner, where are you spending your time? You know, if you have the children, let's talk about the children. The children will have their own color. And you can see, then you start your week by putting in your non-negotiables. So what do I have to do for the children each day? What do I have to do for the business each day? What have I got to do for other things? Color blocking is great, and it's a really good way to organize yourself and get your systems in place. You need systems for what you're doing. You need systems for how you're dealing with your customers, and keep them simple. So hopefully that kind of helps a little bit with the mentality. The other thing is with business is actually you need to have an opening and a closing time. You know, when you go down to Sainsbury's, they have a time they shut. When you go to WH Smith's, they have a time they open the door and they have the time the business shuts. Your business needs to do the same, and you need to have the same. So have those times, and keep yourself in check, keep yourself very organized. So I have a meeting with an important customer this week and I'm really nervous. Do you have any ideas to help me prepare for the meeting? That's always a good one. Yeah, the first one is they say in the theatre when you're going on to act on stage, imagine everyone naked. Probably not going to work in a meeting, so I'd be less inclined to suggest that you do that. It's difficult to deal with the nerve side of things because that's a natural reaction when you're going into something new. And that's the first thing that helps you to deal with it, is that actually understand this is normal. You are going into a new situation. You're going to meet more than likely new people for the first time or the first couple of times. You're focused on the importance of needing to make this work, make this happen, get the result, get the outcome. You're talking about what you're doing and you want to get it right. You know, you've got to make sure you've got everything with you. You've got so much going on. This is your body's natural reaction to heighten your awareness, to make you aware that you've got to go and do that. So get everything prepared, get everything ready in good time. Make sure you've got time to get to wherever the meeting is, whether that's going to be on the computer, whether that's going to be, because you'll be more relaxed. If you've got plenty of time, you'll be calm and you'll be relaxed, and that will help with the nerves. Also, the other thing is to recognize that we tend to speed up when we're nervous. So to take a deep breath and relax, do some breathing exercises to slow down. One good one is that you breathe in counting to 4 on your fingers. You hold counting to 4, and then you breathe out counting to 4 slowly. And that will allow you to kind of calm things down. So if you feel yourself speeding up, just take a short pause, you know, and also remember that in a meeting, unless anyone else is aware of what you're talking about, they don't know if you've gone wrong. And the times that I've done a interview like this, or I've done a presentation, or I've done a meeting, and I've suddenly stumbled over my words, got things a bit wrong, so it does become obvious, and just let them know, just say, oh, it's been one of those days today, do you know, I cannot get my words out. Make light of it, because it makes you feel better, you know. Or if you suddenly just go, oh, I've just got lost in my thoughts completely, let me just bring it back a second, you know. It makes you human, and people like humans. People buy from people, you know, they like to see that you're not perfect. Good point from Essie there. Essie has said about list of bullets as well. Fantastic point. Thank you, Essie, sorry. You know, it is, you know, have a list of bullet points, the main points you want to tick off and want to hit. Absolutely brilliant. So we've got some questions coming in. We've got stuff coming in thick and fast from the emails. Anyone that's on live, if you can comment on there as well, that if you're getting value from this, if you've got any questions, you've got anything, you know, bring it in to us. But the next one is, I've also been invited to my first networking meeting with other new self-employed people. Do you have any tips on how to approach new business people in the room? Do you know, one thing I'm going to say is actually Essie covered this last week brilliantly. She talked about this in her thing. So go back over our Samee Wiz sessions, either on the website, samee.co.uk, or on our Facebook Samee page. Go back over that and just have a watch, because she did talk about the networking side of things a little bit and touched on that. But I think when you're going to meet someone new, people always say to me, you know, how do you start a conversation with someone? And I usually say it is really, really simple. Start by, hello, how are you? And that is the simplicity of it. You know, all the time we try and think about, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? How am I going to do it? Have a conversation. People buy from people. And one tip a mentor gave me was always work harder on the relationship than you do on product and service. You know, get to know people, get to know who they are, what they do, ask them questions about them. If you want to turn the focus off of you to get comfortable in networking, ask lots of questions around them and what they do and how they do it. You know, that's going to be your easiest way to take away from it. So start with, hi, how are you? You know, how did you get here today? You know, if the weather is awful, oh, I hope you managed to drive here. Hope you've got a lift home and stuff. You know, just have those normal conversations. And, you know, if it's feeling a little bit nervous, you know, ask them, you know, do you come here often? Is this your first time? If it's their first time, say, oh, how do you find it? And they say, oh, you know, I hate these things. I find it very, very nervous. You know, it's so that's my suggestion. We've also had another suggestion as well. Sam has said, you know, make sure you pour coffee over yourself. It always starts a conversation. That's a conversation for another day. We always have conversations about how things happen in the office. Sam has a very great story about how on the night we launched a project, we launched the CEO as well. So that's another interesting networking event, but I'm not allowed to discuss that story anymore. But yeah, so that's what I would say about networking is, you know, be yourself. People buy from people. Have conversations, show an interest, ask people about themselves, ask them, you know, if they give you a little interesting thing about the fact they've been on holiday, you know, if they're looking really lovely and tanned, or, you know, they're happy and they say, oh, I've just been on holiday, then, you know, ask them, oh, where did you go? You know, dive more, because when you ask questions about an answer that you get, it shows that you're interested, it shows that you're listening, and you can really start to understand. And then the next time you see them at the meeting, you can kind of go up to them and go, oh, hi, how are you? You know, great to see you again. How are the kids? You know, you can ask them those questions that build that relationship and build that trust. I'm getting told, don't push it, Collar. Yeah, okay, the boss is watching. I'll be careful, I promise. So yeah, I mean, that answers any questions. I think we've got some other questions maybe, but you know, if you have got any questions, if you've got any thoughts, chuck them in there. We've got some coming in, but we'd love to see some from our listeners that are live as well. So if you're live on board, I know we've got Liz on. Lorraine is usually on as well. I'm not sure if Lorraine's on. I haven't seen a hello yet, but Lorraine is usually on with us as well. So another one is I sell my own handmade clothes at craft shows, and I get really nervous about trying to sell to the public. Have you got any ideas to help? I love this one. You go to these events and you see two things. You see all these people that have paid to get there, paid to showcase what they're doing, have set up and then sit behind their tables, quiet, looking at their phones, looking down the floor, thinking, please don't talk to me. Please don't. And then at the end of the day, you'll have a chat with them and you go, how was it? And they go, oh, it was quiet. Or didn't see any customers. And you think, well, I saw some people. There were some people around, but I did see that you didn't really pay them much attention during the daytime. It is nervous, but actually put yourself, again, recognize it's normal. It's new. It's a bit, you're making yourself vulnerable. It's normal. Put yourself in that situation. Get yourself out there and talk to people and start the conversation exactly the same. Hi, how are you? Have you come far today? Where have you come from? Show a bit of interest in them. You want them to spend money with you, then show an interest in them. Take an interest, find out about them. Have a conversation. Don't just make it about what you've got to offer. Are you looking for anything specific today? Ask them that question. Oh yeah, I'm looking for candles. Oh, brilliant. Wayne's across the way. He's got candles. He does, some great things. You ought to pop across and have a chat with him. He's really, really nice guy. You start referring people across to the tables. They start referring people back to you, and they start coming having conversations with you, But yeah, get to know people. Get to know where they come from. Do they go there regularly? If it's a first event, what do they think of the event? What do they like about it? What are they looking for? And then you can say to them, what you're doing. You can say, oh, have you seen anything you like? Or if you've got something that they're looking for, oh, we've got something like that. With this is the thing. So get into the art of having conversations, get into the art of getting to know people, really building a picture about those customers and having a conversation about them. And, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. We say about 85% of sales are lost because people don't ask the question. If you see something and they like it, you can just simply say to them, so we accept card or cash today. How would you like to pay? Brilliant. So you like that one. That's really what you're looking for. Shall I wrap it for you? It's those closing questions that will get you the sale, that just are a little bit cheeky and we all feel afraid, but ask them. Okay, so what else have we got coming in? I always say, don't stand behind the table. It makes people come over as there is no one there to question them. Sometimes they want to browse. Then you can walk back and say, what do you think? Absolutely. So yeah, don't stand behind the table. Absolutely right. They can ask questions, and tables put a barrier. It puts a barrier between people, and it's that kind of safety barrier. Oh, I'm safe. I'm behind here. Don't talk to me kind of barrier. So, stand at the side, stand in front, be friendly, have conversations. If you're having conversations and you've attracted people as well, this is another thing. If you've got people by your stall, that attracts other people, because people are nosy and people want to know what's going on over there. So if you've got a good conversation and there's laughter going and people are looking, it creates a good atmosphere. So yeah, so that's always good. So I think that covers some stuff today, and it's been a bit of a shorter session, but we just wanted to do a Q&A session. We really want to carry on these sessions and make sure we're providing value for you. So we are going to bring out some surveys and ask people what they want. We would love for you to let us know what sort of things you want to hear about, what sort of things you want to find out about. And I'd love for you to give us some feedback about how you're enjoying the the Samee Wiz sessions, and what more we can do to offer value to those, or different things that you want to know about. So we've got a couple of things that have come in. Let's just bring, Liz has just asked a question quickly as well, or she's just made a comment as well. I sell secondhand books, often have people who want to buy the sell the books. Often the books, they're having very little profit. How do I let them down gently? It's a very good point, Liz. You know, we can say yes to everything, but that doesn't always achieve the greatest thing. And the most difficult thing is to say no, because naturally we don't want to say no to people. We don't like saying no, especially if they're nice. So how do you let them gently? I've always found honesty is the best policy, you know, and I think if you go to someone with honesty but diplomacy and politeness, I would do it along the lines of, you know, thank you ever so much for sharing these books with me. You know, I've had a look through them, I've reviewed them. At this time, I'm really, really sorry, but unfortunately, they're not something that I'm going to be able to take off your hands. There's not, you know, we've got an influx of these. You could say that you've got an influx of them. You could say that, you know, there's excess stock. You could say that actually having researched those items at the moment, you can see there's lots on the market and they're just not selling. You haven't got the space to take on the extra stock. So there are lots of reasons why, but having that honesty about it and just, you know, being polite, but, you know, saying really, really sorry, it's better, because in the long run, people will appreciate that, rather than trying to, you know, see what you can do and squeeze it in. If it's really not right for your business, people will be the honesty. And if you can give them another suggestion as well, so if you can say to them, well, actually, as it stands currently, I can't take those off of your hands, but what I can suggest is that you contact this website, or you contact these people. They might be able to have a look at it for you. You've given them somewhere to go with them, you've given them another option, but you've also been honest with them and said, look, this time it's just not right. So honesty, but yeah, doing it in a nice way. You can be honest and do it in a nice way and just let them down gently, I think is the best answer. And they are more likely to respect that and more likely to return next time. And it could be that they return next time and it's the same again, and then maybe give them some suggestions and say, look, unfortunately these titles I can't take either. I'm so sorry that, you know, this is the second time you come to me and actually they're not items that I can offer you at the moment. My suggestion would be that you maybe try this section again, but actually the things that I'm really looking for at the moment, the things that are going really well, is this and this. Those are items that currently today I can take off people's hands. Someone's asked about business plans. Where can I get business plans? Well, come and have a chat with ourselves, you know, booking an appointment with us. We have a business plan template that we can start to work with. It's really, really good because it asks some questions in some right orders, gets you thinking about that, and then we can develop that, and we have the expertise to work with you and forward you on to the next stage with that, to work in more detail. So yes, definitely, if you're looking for a business plan, give us a call, pop through an email with your details, and we'll have a look at that for you. Do you know where I can get a really simple business plan that is easy to understand and fill in? I think we've just covered that. But yeah, absolutely. We have a 3-page foldable business plan. Let me just see. Actually, I might even be able to bring it on the screen for you just to give you a sneak preview. So I'm just going to bring it up there and just open it up. Where are we? There we are. So I'm just going to open this up and show you, because we have I love working with this one because it is really, really simple one to use. And it's a template that we have that just starts to ask the right questions in the right way. So here we go. Where is my screen? Bring you back to me. And if I go share screen. So let me just find the application window. There we go, and share the screen. And here we go, up on my screen now. You should see there is the Samee Project Business Plan template. So I'm not going to run through it all now, but it's a really, really good template just to start asking the right questions. And I always suggest to people, write this on a separate piece of paper, not actually in the template, and write the questions as headings, because then that will allow you to use those headings and expand on that, so you can put in a little bit more. So yeah, so that's a really good. What is the captioning service you are using? Essie, not 100% sure what we're referring to. I think you mean when I'm bringing up, like I've brought up your comment just there. If we're referring to that, it's all part of the StreamYard program that I use. So we, when we interviewed you, we used StreamYard and you came in on StreamYard. I have the controls my end, and I'm quite happy to sit down with you, maybe Essie, and we can have a chat, and I can show you how it works in a little bit more detail. That's the captioning service that I'm using. Is the comment service on StreamYard. But hopefully that has helped you. Liz, glad to hear that has really helped. That's good to know. So we have a few people that are still on and having a chat with us. If you've got any other questions for me, if you've got any other comments, you can drop them into the comment box or email them in. Also, if you've got anything you're watching on replay, you want to book something, or you want to have a chat with us, or you want to come and do a Samee Whiz session, we're always open. We've got a couple of people lined up, but we're always happy to book people in for these sessions. Ricci at samee.co.uk. It does take you out of your comfort zone, but it is well worth it. It will grow your confidence. Also, like we said, easy fundraising is a way that we actually raise money. So you can do through easy fundraising. It's through your normal shopping as well. So you go, let's say you're buying something from Argos. I think Argos is on there at the moment, but just double check. And you want to raise some money for Samee. You're not going to spend any extra money. You're not going to take any extra time. You simply log on to easy fundraising. Find the Argos thing. Make sure you're logged in with Samee. There are lots of charities on there, but we would love it for you to support us. And I'm going to be a bit cheeky and say that. But yeah, you log on to Easy Fundraising. You go to the site you want. You order the item you want at the exact same price you would pay for it if you weren't going through Easy Fundraising. And then what happens is, because you've used Easy Fundraising, Argos and Easy Fundraising donate a little bit to the charity on a percentage basis of your sales. So if you've spent £100 and it's 10%, they would give £10 to the charity, and it's not cost you any extra money or any extra time. It's brilliant, and it'll even link to your bar. So it's a really good. You want to know any more information about that, drop us through an email and I'll let you know. As he said, no, they're closed captions on the bottom of the page. I was just wondering where they're coming from. Not 100% sure, but I will touch base with you about that, Essie, in a bit more detail, and we can have a chat about that, and I can see what you need to know and what we need to help you with. But I'm sure we can support you with that and provide some more information. So yeah, so I'll contact you. I'll drop you through an email and contact you afterwards, and we can catch up, and I can answer that one for you. So yeah, so I don't know if there's anything else, but I think that's covered everything. I love this picture that is up here on the side of us, believe, because absolutely that's what you should do. You are all fantastic people. We love the support you give us week in, week out, and we love supporting you and helping you. Stay in contact. Have a great week, have success, and have a good weekend. We will see you next week, and we will see you on Friday with our lovely accountant. We're really looking forward to bringing her on and introducing you to her. It's going to be a fantastic session next week. Get your questions ready, but don't forget we're on Friday. I will announce it tomorrow so that you've got plenty of notice. It's been a great session, and look out for the survey for Samee with future sessions so we can shape this and make sure we continue to bring value. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. See you next week. Take care.